Thank you to all our valued marine industry co-hosts, partners, and valued members for joining the 2020 American Boating Congress. The COVID-19 pandemic has deeply impacted every life and corner of the business community, and the $778 billion outdoor recreation economy and our $170 billion recreational boating and fishing segment has not been immune. But despite the headwinds we all face, recreational boating and fishing is uniquely positioned to play an important and vital role in rebuilding our economy and healing our nation.
And so working together in a bipartisan fashion and bicameral fashion to try to get some support, both debt-free and then low-interest support for small businesses to be able to weather this storm. And we've passed a number of packages to try to address it.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Hey, there you are.
We're all here.
Oh, no. The way we've learned to work together and with the Problem Solvers Caucus, the 50 of us, is really to actually discuss issues and to dig into them and to actually have a real conversation, and not just to talk at one another, but to listen to one another and to try to understand how we can, wherever possible, get yes and get to getting something done. You know, this crisis is really, for a lot of people, been the first time they've worked across the aisle as much as they have. For us, frankly, it's something that we do literally every day.
Can you talk a little bit about the role of the media? You know, you guys seem to work really well together. You're putting forward a face of bipartisanship. That's not always what we hear or see in the media.
With the standing joke between Josh and I, we'll be going on TV together and we'll talk about, hey, we got a great deal done on infrastructure. We got a great deal done on issues XYZ. And they're like, oh, that's wonderful. We love that. We love the fact that you guys are working together. But we really want you to talk about where you guys got in a fight during that process. Tell us the inside fight that happened between the two. And we're just like, that's not who we are. I mean, we disagree, but we don't fight.
We closed down probably harder than most of the states in the country, both with our commercial activity and our recreational activity. And we had a pretty intense shutdown through the month of April. Now we are emerging out of that, and we are going through a 4-phase process of reopening.
Within a state, there's somewhat of an urban-rural divide. You know, there are regional differences with the outbreak, too, that you have to think about. There are many of our rural communities which thankfully have not seen an outbreak like Nashville and Memphis have. And they have been, you know, their businesses have been required to be shut down during our stay-at-home by the same token as if they were a restaurant in downtown Nashville.
Governor Walz's executive order, as you mentioned, focused on, allowed for outdoor recreational opportunity, but staying local. So our messaging has been really being local. Finally, we got to the point where saying local is traveling no more than you can go there and back on a tank of gas, for example. People want to go to northern Minnesota fishing, things like that.
And the good news is that things are opening back up. Here you see what the map looked like back in April. Several states had absolute closures. I think by our count, there were 15 states that specifically prohibited. And going on to the next slide, just this week, 17 states have reopened manufacturing. So there's definitely this phase 1 wave that is happening for the manufacturing industry, and ours in particular.
The Fed, Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve, they've made it extraordinarily clear that they are here to backstop this U.S. economy and make sure that the damage that we see as part of the shutdown and part of the quarantine and the stay-at-home orders, that damage is as minimal as possible, and that they're injecting the U.S. economy with whatever they can on their end to really support a quick rebound.
We need economic relief for small and medium-sized businesses as America reopens up and has support systems in the form of loans and tax incentives to keep moving forward and keep their employees on the payroll. But there's also opportunities to include recreation-based infrastructure. There's no better way to inject money into our local and rural economies than through infrastructure. And for our industry, we know that infrastructure equals access, and there's no time like the present to address those issues. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to send your letters through Boating United.